So good morning, everyone. Yesterday we were
Good
discussing
morning.
about good morning, nature of training. Plus, we had discussed about the difference between training and development. So today we will be starting with training need assessment. That what is the need for training that we are going to discuss now, and how it is done that we will be discussing. So training needs assessment. Who are the employee who require training? Once the organization completes the performance evaluation of the employees, the organization comes to know that who are the employees who need training, and that is called as training need assessment. That okay, 10 employees require training, they need training, but which type of training? It should not happen that organization should design a training program for all the 10 people, a same training program. So what is done by the organization is first their needs are studied, that what is needed by these 10, 15, 20 people who require or who need more training by the organization. So that is called as training need assessment. Now this need assessment is to be done of individual employee, that okay, this employee A requires this type of training, employee B may require same training or some other type of training, employee C may require some other type of training. So for 10 people there can be 2 3 types of training which can be provided to them, and which will be, once they are given training, then the organization may expect that their performance will improve. So training need assessment is a systematic process which assesses an organization to develop an understanding of who, what, and where training is required. Who are the persons who require training, what type of training they require, and where training is required. Training need arises at 3 levels. First one, organizational level. Second one, individual level. And third one is operational level. Organizational level means first, the organization has to develop training programs. They should have a policy that we should be implementing the training programs as per the needs of the employee. There should be provision of capital for these training programs. It should not happen that organization is not investing money in the training program. They have designed 1 or 2 types of training which they feel that this training program can be provided to each and every employee of the organization. So if such is the scenario, then we can say that training program need is not properly assessed by the organization. The organization should have a clear cut policy that the training program will be designed as per the needs of the employee of the organization, and that is at the organizational level. The organization should provide a place for training. They should provide the trainers required to provide training. Then they should provide the equipment or the necessary uh, facilities which are required for training. So this is at the organizational level. Now the second one is individual level. Individual employees need is to be assessed, and again it is to be done by the organization with the help of the results of performance evaluation. The organization comes to know that who are the employees whose performance is not up to the mark, then the managers should go to the root cause of that problem. And if they come to know that because some of the employee, they lack in some job related skill, some technical skill, or some other type of skill, their performance is not up to the mark which is set by the organization. Now, if such thing comes to know, then these individuals should be informed by their managers that as you are lacking in this particular type of skills, you will be deputed for this type of training. So that is at the second level, that is individual level. Operational level. Operational level means after doing the need assessment of employees, after providing the facilities for training, after making provisions for trainers, after finalizing the people who will be trained during the training, the last thing comes is that it should be operationalized. Operationalized means that it should be actually conducted by the organization. First one, the organization has made all the provisions for various types of training. Second one, the individuals or the employees who are to be trained are finalized, are selected by the managers of the organization. And the third one is whatever date, whatever place is finalized for these training programs are to be conducted on that particular place, at that particular time, at that particular date. So that is called as operational level. So that is the training need assessment. Now we will move on to training evaluation. So far we had discussed performance evaluation in the earlier topic where we talked about performance appraisal. There we had discussed this term performance evaluation. Now we will be talking about the training evaluation. Now, in simple words, we can say to evaluate the after effects of training. Once a person is being given training, evaluation means to find out whether the person has understood everything during the training or not. This can be done with the help of evaluation. Now, training evaluation, the process of examining a training program is called training evaluation. It checks whether training has the desired effect. Training evaluation, that whether candidates are able to implement their learning in their respective workplaces or to the regular work routines. So very simple, training evaluation is after giving training to the employees, once the employee starts working on their job, during this working period, their performance is being evaluated to check whether the training in which they have the training which they have been conducted, whether the training was useful for them or not. If their performance is showing increase, we can say that the training which they undergone was fruitful. If their performance is not showing any increase, then it can be the evaluation results will be that they were not benefited by the training program. So that is evaluation of training. Now there are various methods of training evaluation. One of the most famous method of training evaluation is called as Kirkpatrick 4 levels of evaluation method for training. Kirkpatrick is the name of the person who has designed this training program. So he has designed this training program which consists of 4 levels. First, level 1 is reaction, level 2 is learning, level 3 is behavior, and level 4 is results. Now, according to Kirkpatrick, this can be one of the best method to evaluate the training program. Whether your training program is successful or not can be find out with the help of this Kirkpatrick evaluation training method. So that we will be discussing what actually this method is. So level 1 is reaction. Now reaction includes to what degree participants react favorably to the learning environment. Now during your first semester, when you have already studied organizational behavior, you might have studied the normal behavior or the general behavior of the individual, of the employee, that often the individuals, they reject changes. We normally do not accept change. We do not want to change. Whatever we are doing at present, we are happy with that, and we do not want to accept change. That is the general tendency of individual human beings and of employees. So once an employee is working on a machine for the last, say, 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years, and if that employee is being informed by the organization that now we will be changing the machine or changing the process of the machine, and for this change of process you need to undergo new training. Now first reaction of that person will be that he will resist that particular type of training. He will always try to convince the supervisor that whatever he is doing at present is absolutely fine. He doesn't require any type of training, and he will give his 100% to improve the quality and productivity of the machine. So the first reaction of an individual is that normally, generally, the individuals, the employees, the human beings, they are such type of people who normally resist change. We do not want to change. That is the normal reaction. It happens with each and everyone. So level 1 says that to what degree participants react favorably to the learning environment. So if these people who resist change, who are not in favor of this change, who do not want to attend the new training program, who do not want to acquire new training skills, now these people are to be first communicated about the results of the training program. Results means that if you undergo this type of training, you will acquire new skill. If you implement that new skill on the job, your productivity will improve, quality wise and quantity wise. as your productivity will improve, the organization will provide you more benefits, more incentive. So this training program is beneficial for you. You will start earning more after this training program. Once you undergo this training program, automatically your earning capacity will improve. You will start earning more. So if in this manner the employees are convinced, and if they are convinced, okay, this training program is for my benefit, if I acquire new knowledge, if I acquire new skills, definitely my salary is going to improve. I may get promoted in the organization. I will get more benefits. I will get more incentives. So all the benefits of the training program should be shared with the individuals, with the employees. If these benefits are shared, then what will happen? Then in learning, in step one, that is reaction, to what degree participants react favorably to the learning environment. Here we can say that more people, more employee, or most of the employee of the organization who are aware that the training program is our for our benefit, we are going to be benefited in terms of more salary, more incentive, more benefits if we undergo this training program. Then what will happen? Level 1 will see that most of the participants or all the participants will react favorably to the learning environment. They will enter the training hall with a, say, positive aspect, that they want to learn something during this training. So positivity is there. They are very much positive at the start of the training program, and that is called as level 1. If the organization doesn't share the results of training program, that is, that once you acquire new training, what will be the after effects of this training, or what you are going to receive, how you are going to be benefited. If this is not shared, then what will happen? The employee will be forced to enter the training hall. They are being some sort of forced by the organization. Now they know that they do not have any option. They are not ready for training, as the organization has not shared the benefits of undergoing that training. So they are not at all ready to undergo training program, but they know that if they do not attend the training program, strict disciplinary action can be taken against them. So they are not very much positive, but they are being forced by the organization to attend that training program. So if a person who is being forced to attend, do something which he doesn't want to do, that means he will not be giving his 100% during the training program. And if he is not giving his 100% during the training program, he is not going to learn anything during the training program. So he is not going to acquire new knowledge or acquire new skills during the training program. Why? Because he is not involved 100% in the training program. Now, why he is not involved in the training program? Because he doesn't know what benefits he will be getting after the training program. So that is why the first level says that first the employees should be made aware of the benefits of the training program, so that the level 1, that is the reaction should always be positive in nature. It should not be negative in nature. In first case, where the employees know the benefits of training program, once they enter the training hall, their reaction will be positive in nature. Those in second case, those employees who are not aware of the benefits of the training program, once they enter the training hall for the start of training, their reaction will be negative in nature. So if the reactions are negative, the results is going to be negative. If the reactions are positive, the result will be positive. So this is the evaluation technique. So what it says is that first you have to make the reaction positive of the employee, and that is called as level 1. Level 2 is learning. Now learning, under learning, to what degree participants acquire the intended knowledge, skills, and attitudes based on their participation in the learning event. That comes under level 2. And it talks about the learning of new skills, learning of new knowledge. Now, here also, if the training program is properly planned, if the training is properly implemented, if the trainer who is giving training, who is providing training, is really good trainer, then we can expect that the employees who are undergoing this training program, they will acquire new knowledge, they will acquire new skills. So that learning environment should be provided. It should not happen that organization has provided everything, but the trainer himself lacks in certain skills. As he himself lacks in certain skills and knowledge, he is not providing training in the desired manner. So if such thing happens, then we can say that there will be less learning at level 2. So level 2 demands, as level 1 demands, that all the employees who are entering the training hall, who are being deputed to the training, they should have positive approach towards training. Then only they are going to learn something. If somebody forces you, for example, that you have to study for 4 hours in a day, somebody is forcing, it can be your parents, it can be your teachers, they are forcing you that you have to study for 4 hours. The first reaction will be that no one enjoys sitting at a particular place and studying for 4 hours. But once you are being conveyed that these will be the benefits which will be shared once you get good marks in the exams, that parents also give motivation to the uh, students, to the children, as well as teachers also give motivation to the students. Now parents, they may say that we will provide you this, we will get you a bike, we will get you video games, we will get you this, we will get you that. Now this type of motivation they are trying to give, and the child also comes to know that if I perform better in the exam, I will get this, and because of this he gets positivity, he gets positive approach, or he goes through a positive approach towards learning, and he starts learning, and at the end he gets good marks. Same is the case with students also. If students are motivated by the teachers that if you get good marks, you will be ranked first in the college. If you say take more hard work, then you may get in the ranking of the university, you may get distinction, you may be rewarded, or you may be awarded with first prize with gold medal by the chancellor of the vice chancellor of the university. So all such type of motivation are being provided to the student. Why? Because they should have positive approach towards learning. They should be knowing that if I learn more, then I will be earning this thing after learning. Now, second level says that learning. Now, learning should happen at second level. If learning can happen, then only we can expect at level 4 good results. If employees are very much positive towards learning, but if they are not being given proper learning, environment, less learning equipments are available, the tools required for providing learning are not up to the mark, or the trainer is not up to the mark. If any such thing happens during the learning process, during the training process, we can say that on the fourth stage, when we will reach the fourth stage of Kirkpatrick evaluation method of training, then we can say that training will result in negative effect. It will not be positive, it will be negative. The results will be negative. So what the level 2 expects is that the employee should be able to acquire new knowledge, acquire new skills, and that will be acquired only if proper training facilities are provided during the training program by the organization. Proper learning environment is created by the organization, as well as the trainer is also very effective and he is also providing training in a desired manner. So that we can say that here, if such thing happens, then learning will take place. Next one, level 3. Level 3 is to what degree participants apply what they learned during training when they are back on the job. So their behavior, they have to display that whatever skills they have applied, they have learned, now they have to apply those skills on the job. Whatever knowledge they have gained during the training program, they have to apply that knowledge during their job, and that is called as level 3, and it is behavior. Now here, their performance is being checked, their behavior is being checked, that whatever they have learned, whether they are able to implement those new skills in their job, whether they are able to use that new acquired knowledge in their job, whether their performance is improving. If it is improving, the training was good. If it is not improving, we can say that the training was not up to the mark. There were some lackings during the training program. So that is level 3. So if the employees are positive at level 1, if the training facility as well as the trainer is good at level 2, we can say at level 3, the performance will definitely show an increase. But if what will happen, if at level 1, most of the employee were forced to attend the training program, or at level 2, there were some lacking, either the trainer was not up to the mark or the training facilities were not up to the mark, then we can say at level 3, the employee will not be able to display their new learnings or their new acquired skills or their new knowledge in their job. So that will be the result of, again, it will not show any increase or any say improvement in the efficiency of the employee. Why? Because some of the at level 1 or at level 2, something was missing. But if everything is planned and if everything is implemented in that manner only, that most of the employees were positive towards training. Everything during the training program was up to the mark, so they acquired new skills. Then we can say that definitely most of these employees will be able to implement these new acquired skills and their knowledge in the training, in the actual work process. On their job, they will be able to implement these skills and this new acquired knowledge, which will be the result of level 4. Level 4 is results. So results can be of two types. We have already discussed that it can be positive or it can be negative in nature. So positive, if level 1 is up to the mark, level 2 is up to the mark, definitely there will be improvement at level 3. And if there are improvement at level 3, there will be a positive result at level 4. But if something is lacking at level 1 or at level 2, we can say that at level 3, there will be no improvement. If there is no improvement at level 3, then the result at level 4 will be negative in nature. So this is how the Kirkpatrick 4 level of evaluation method of training works. Now, next one is importance of training. Very simple points are there in during the importance of training we are going to discuss. First one is reduction in cost of production. Now, reduction in cost of production, very simple and very easy to understand. If the employee is trained properly, automatically his wastage will be minimized and his production will improve, quality of his production will improve, and this is how there can be reduction in cost of production. Now, cost of production increases, it's a very logical thing. Everyone can understand why the cost of production increases. If wastages are more, cost of production will increase. If the efficiency of the employee is less, that he has to say produce 100 outputs in a day, but he is producing say 80 outputs, his output is 80 units. If he is producing 80 units in a day instead of 100 units in a day, we can say the cost of production will increase. So if he is able to increase his efficiency, if he is able to minimize the wastages, then definitely there will be reduction in the cost of production. Next one, maximum utilization of materials and machines. If the person is trained properly, one of the importance of training is that maximum utilization of machines and material can be achieved. The person who is trained on the machine, now automatically his efficiency will increase. He will be utilizing not only the machine 100%, but he will be making use of 100% the raw materials also or other materials also. Minimum possibility of accident, again very simple and logical in nature. Minimum possibility of accident. If an employee is working on a machine, if he is properly trained to work on a machine, then there are more chances that there is less chance of accident, the person meeting with an accident during the work. Why? Because the employee is trained properly to work on that machine, so there are less chances of accident. If the employee is not properly trained on to work on a particular machine, he doesn't know the working of various parts of the machine, then there can be, we can say, then there can be chances of there can be possibility of accident. But if properly trained, he knows which are the dangerous parts of the machine, what type of precaution should be taken during the work on that particular machine. So he will be taking all the precautionary measures because he is properly trained. But if he is not properly trained, he may not be knowing the dangerous parts of the machine, that if he comes in contact with those dangerous parts, it can be harmful, or there will be a result of accident. It will be a result of accident, and it will cause harm or bodily injury to the employee. So if properly trained, less chances of accident. If not properly trained, more chances of accident. It is simple and logical. Next one, improvement in quality and quantity of production. Again, very simple in nature. The training, if a person is properly trained, what will be the results? There will be improvement in quality and quantity of production. Minimum need of supervision. Once the person is properly trained, once he knows how to do his job properly, once he is independently able to perform his job, then we can say that he doesn't require supervision, or there will be minimum supervision for this particular employee who knows his job well. There will be stability in the organization. If the employees of the organization, they are trained properly, automatically it will be resulting in better production. If better production is there, better salary and better incentives will be shared with the employees. If better incentive and salary is being shared with the employee, there are less chances that these employees will leave the organization. If they are not leaving the organization, automatically it will be resulting in stability in the organization. Next one, difference between efficient and inefficient employees. With the help of training program, it is very easier for the organization to find out that who are the employees who are efficient and who are not so efficient employees. If one time training is given, or two time training is given, and three time training is given, but still if some of the employees are not showing any improvement in their performance, then the organization will have to take a call on these employees, and the organization will come to know that these are the employees who are being given so much of training, but if still they are unable to improve their performance, then they have to be removed from the organization. So with the help of training, the organization comes to know about efficient and inefficient employees. Now, next one is methods of training. So there are broadly two types of training method. Yesterday also we had discussed. First method is called as on the job training, and the second method is called as off the job training. On the job training, as the name itself says, that when training is provided to an employee while he or she is working on the job, that method of training is called as training, on the job training. Now in on the job training, there are four types. First one, coaching method. Third is understudy. Fourth is job instruction technique. Now, first method of training is coaching method. Now, coaching method is a method where the instructor guides the trainee about the work process. When the trainee is working on a machine, he is being supervised, or he is being guided by a trainer or by his supervisor, who stands next to him, who stands near him, who observes him, and who guides him, that now you have to do this, now you have to do this. If he is going somewhere in the wrong direction, he is there to correct him. So that is called as coaching method of training. Next one is job rotation. To make the job more interesting, or to kill the boredom of the job rotation type of training is being provided. Now, what happens if a person is doing the same job for a longer period of time? Automatically, it will create monotony in the mind of that particular employee, that every day he has to do a particular thing only, a particular job only. And if it creates monotony or boredom in the mind of employee, there are more chances that his performance will be adversely affected because of that monotony or because of that boredom. To avoid this, one of the on the job training method is called as job rotation. His job is rotated, that once for 7 days or for 10 days or for 15 days, it depends upon organization to organization. The employee will be doing one job, and after 10 days the employee will be shifted to another job. After again 10 days he will be shifted to another job. But these jobs should be similar in nature. It should not happen that for 10 days the employee is working as an accountant, then after 10 days he is shifted to the production department and he is supervising the production and operations. Then after 10 days he is shifted to the HR department, and now he is being given the role of planning training program. If such type of rotation is there, then that is not called as job rotation. Job rotation means when the jobs are rotated for an employee which are similar in nature, then only we can say that yes, it is job rotation. Now, very common example is there when we see the in manufacturing companies, when say four wheelers are being manufactured, then they have a layout is there where people are we often see on TV, or if you have visited a car factory or a automobile other two-wheeler factory, you will see that say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 or hundreds of people are standing on the conveyor belt, next to the conveyor belt, and parts are moving on those conveyor belt, and they have to fix a particular part in the two-wheeler or in the four-wheeler. The body goes moving on the conveyor belt, and the employee who is standing near the conveyor belt, he has a responsibility to fix a particular part in the four-wheeler or two-wheeler. So job rotation means that during this manufacturing process, the job of employee A is that he has to fix tire. So for 10 days, he will be fixing tires. Then he will be shifted to the next position where he is supposed to say fix brakes in the car. Then he will be shifted to the third position. He is supposed to say fix the gear and the steering of the car. So this way we can say the job is being rotated. Here we can say that all the jobs which are being rotated for this particular employee are similar in nature. So this is called as job rotation training. Next one is understudy. Now in understudy is that when an employee is working on a machine, when an employee is working in the organization, he is being studied by his superior. He is being observed by the superior. Now in coaching method, when the employee is doing something wrong, immediately the coach is there standing next to the employee to correct that particular wrong. But in understudy, what happens is that the superior is not standing next to the employee who is working on the machine, but he is sitting somewhere else, but he is observing. He is observing how the employee is working in his job, and that is called as understudy. He is observing the entire process of the working process of the employee, that how he is working, how he is performing, and during the observation he will be taking out certain points or certain notes. After that, whatever the policy of the organization is, that the understudy should be for say 1 day, it should be for 3 days, it should be for 7 days. After 7 days, after 3 days, or after 1 day, the points which were taken out by the trainer who was observing from somewhere else the performance of the employee, he will be sharing those points with the employee, but later on, not at that particular moment as it happens in coaching method. Next one, job instruction training. Now job instruction training is that when the employee is very new in the organization, he has newly joined the organization and he has newly started working on a particular machine. Now to make the employee who is just started the machine, just started working on the machine, he is very new to the machine, to make him comfortable, that someone who is experienced is there to help him out. So in this type of training, the instructions are given by a senior or by the supervisor or by the trainer to the newly joined employee, that now you do this, now you do this, now you do this. So that is called as job instruction technique. In coaching method, what we have discussed is that the employee is doing his work independently and the coach interrupts whenever he feels that he is going in a wrong direction or he has done something wrong during the production process. Then only he intervenes. In job instruction, what happens? Right from the beginning, the supervisor, the trainer, or the senior who is standing next to the employee, he is giving him certain instruction. Now you do this, now you do this, now you do this. And this way, he is making the new employee comfortable with his job. Now, next one is the off-the-job training methods. So on the job training methods we have discussed. Now we will be discussing one or two methods of the job training, and then the remaining method we will take up for discussion tomorrow. So first method is called as lecture method. So everyone is aware of what is a lecture method. Lecture method is very simple. wherein a trainer or the person who is going to deliver the lecture, he enters the lecture hall where the participants are already sitting, and he delivers the lecture. So that is one of the off-the-job method of training. When the training is to be provided for large number of employees, then this method is useful. There are certain disadvantages of this method. The common disadvantages of this method is, as there is more one-way interaction, as there is less participants' participation. Those who are there, the employees' participation during the lecture is less, the interaction is less, the discussions are less, only one person is talking and others are listening. So there is more passive learning instead of active learning. So as there is less active learning, there are more disadvantages of this method of training. If the number of employees are less, then this method is not at all suitable training method. So that is the lecture method. Next one is case study method. Now, case study, with the help of case, the trainers are being trained for, say, decision making or for problem solving. So in lecture method, we have seen that the lecturer or the trainer, he comes to the lecture hall or class and he delivers his lecture and he leaves. So there is more passive learning, less active learning. To involve more employee in the learning process, the another method of training, which is off the job method, there can be case study method. Now in case study method, a case is being given to the participants where they have to study the case, read the case, understand the case, and they have to come out with solutions for the case. There can be many solutions for a particular case. Only thing required is that every participant has to justify that solution, justify that answer. And if that answer is logical, then it can be accepted by the trainer. So that is case study method, where the copies of cases are being circulated to the participants. The participants are required to read the case carefully and they have to solve that particular case. It improves the problem solving or decision making abilities of the employees. So that is the meaning of case study method. The next method, that is simulation, role playing, incident, in basket or transactional analysis, that we will be discussing in our tomorrow's lecture. So thank you for joining today's session. Tomorrow again we will be meeting at 6 a.m. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.